Fuel subsidy. Well, I think the nitty-gritty for first is for us to define actually what is fuel subsidy. A lot of people in Nigeria really don't understand what is fuel subsidy. In a layman's language, fuel subsidy is the money that the federal government pay on petroleum for Nigerians to use. For example, if petroleum is being sold at the international market for 450 naira, before now, when the federal government asks the filling station to sell for 185 to 182 naira, that is to tell you that the federal government is paying almost 250 naira on 1 liter of petrol for both me and you and other consumers in Nigeria. So for now, what federal government just did is that they hands off completely. They don't want to pay anything on the fuel again for both me and you and other consumers. What federal government wants you to do is for you to buy the petrol at the market price in totality. Today, the federal government has NFPC have pegged their sales for 550 naira for us in Ilori here. 480 something naira for Lagosians, those in Lagos State. And even here in Ilori, any private filling station who think they can sell lesser than 450 naira, like some filling station have been doing here in Ilori. No rain oil sell for 500 naira, and some people have even been selling for something lower than 550 naira. So that exactly is what is happening today, that the federal government have completely hands off in paying anything subsidy for Nigerians. They want us to buy the fuel per liter with the whole of our money. For today, I think the best thing for federal government to have done is what they just did. For time immemorial today, we understand how many cabals have put in this country, have hijacked the economy of this country in the name of fuel subsidies. Let me give you an example. Today in this country, the federal government just pays subsidies for the fuel they doesn't even know the percentage at which Nigerians use. Some people say it's 63,000 barrel. Some people will tell you it's 52,000 barrel. Why should we say even say it's 10,000 barrel? What the federal government is supposed to have done is to know how many barrels of petrol do we usually use in this country. They have failed to know that. But what they did was to continue paying in pains. It is obvious that the federal government is not so financially buoyant that they keep paying the subsidies so that they can subsidize for Nigeria. Today, a lot of people, a lot of analysts will tell you that what they just did is fantastic. But what the federal government did is for them to go far above what they can do. I think the federal government is supposed to have provided a lot of palliatives for Nigerians. A lot of palliatives like increment in salary, provisions of a lot of social amenities, like free transportation for students, free transportation for the aged people, free transportation for the hills in this country, free transportation for even the unemployed youth. They needed to have increased the salaries of Nigerian civil servants. Today, if for example somebody who works with a federal government agency and he earns like for example 50,000 naira, with this fuel hijack, we know taxi fares in this country, transportation fare in this country will be almost 100% increase. For those that paid, like for example in a month, 20,000 naira as their transport fee, we need to pay 40,000 naira as their transport fee for today. A lot of people that did not even earn what they will use in transporting themselves to be. to their various offices. The federal government is supposed to have given out, dishing out those palliative when they do, and they studied the palliative that quite well. This palliative has worked on Nigerians, then they can proceed in removing the fuel subsidies. You see, I think economics we really talked about the question you just asked now. But you know, as a layman, I think it's been understood that money flow, this is the way money flows. The money in your hand. When you have money in your hand, if civil servants in Nigeria of today have an increment in their salaries, then you know there will be a money flow. The civil servant will be able to go to the market to buy those things, the social amenities that they use as a consumer. They will buy the consumable goods. The money will keep flowing among them. If you don't have money today, because you are a media person, I, who is an analyst today, I doesn't have money. That is tantamount to tell you that those in the market will not have the money because we will not have the power to consume most of these products in the market. What we will do is to continue to strangulate ourselves. Is either you turn your feet into one system instead of the 3 meals in a day, you may likely turn it into one, likely turn it into one and a half, and likely turn it into two. But while you have the financial capacity, when they have increment in their salary, they have the financial capacities to purchase their social amenities, the food, they pay their house rent, to take their transportations, to eat much food. When we go to the market, they will buy the food. They will go to the market, they will transact with the marketers. You will have the money, I will have money. That is just in an elementary way of explaining it. But why they increase the salary, that I can tell you that it will really affect both you, even those who are not even in the public sectors, it will really affect them through the money flow. You see, when you talk about the money currency redesign, I think all analysts, and in fact a completely responsible person will know that it is antithetical to the development of this country. The money redesign is nothing but a deformation of our economy. It is just a way of systematically crippling the masses of this country. This is one of the most deadliest time in the history of this country, where you see both the masses suffering gruesomely. You see both the riches in this country suffering gruesomely. I've never in the history of my life seen a time where you will see a completely economic meltdown like this, what we just faced. It is not money redesign. I want to call it an economic collapse. What Emefiele and his guys just did is to provide what I will call an anti-masses policies, something that can kill the masses in some few months. I want to tell you this, because Nigeria is a country without facts and figures. Nigerians don't really know how to do research. But in fact, I want to throw a challenge to a lot of international organizations, both domestic organizations and agencies, to please do a research, a common research among our people. How many people have this money redesign crippled, completely crippled? Most of our middlemen and the lowest range business people in this country are completely dead. When you doesn't have money at hand to purchase, let me give you a good example. For some of our people, our aged people in the far villages, who doesn't even know how to operate the online transactions, completely the economic was that. I know of a village where some of our people go to purchase maize for poultry use. As at that time, when the poultry farmers don't have the cash to purchase the maize, those in the bush don't even know what is being called an account. When you go to that place and you are telling them, Zen transfer Matikudime, he will tell you, no transfer. Completely what is transfer? He said, no, your money in the bank. He said, no. Bana so kudi a banki. Ina so kudi a juna. I don't want money in the bank. I want money in my pocket. But you don't have the money to purchase. So then they continue looking at their products. Those poultry farmers continue coming back to their poultry farm, having no food for their poultry. The eggs that they're supposed to sell completely as at this time, egg continue getting spoiled for poultry farmers in this country. A lot of business were crippled. People don't have money at hand to do transactions. It was an antithetical policy. It's an economic policy that was designed to melt this country down. And I think, thank God, the president as at that time Even when most of our people have suffered, we have suffered, they later come back to their senses and ask us to continue using the old currency. And the question some of us keep asking today is this: where are those new currency that was produced at those times? Today, if you have 10,000 naira with you of under 1,000 naira, hardly you can find a new 1,000 naira new currency among those ways. Where are those currency that was newly produced in this economic of today? And that's the reason some of us only see it as just a systematic way for somebody, for some gang that brought themselves together to cripple the economic of this country, and that is exactly what it is. It is well established as at this time that Mr. Emefiele is in the hand of the DSS. It has been well established, and the DSS have really established that Emefiele is in their custody. Nobody can say what Emefiele was arrested for. But of course, it is very glaring that Emefiele will be questioned. And some of those questions that Emefiele will face is the money redesign policy. A lot of people have continued asking, who is the next president that will not arrest Emefiele? There's nobody that really enjoyed those bad moments in the history of money redesign in this country. So the arrest of Emefiele, I think I would say, is a welcome development. Emefiele need to come back to tell us what policy. Emefiele have to come and tell us the reason for doing it and what has he even done in the money redesign policy that he just did. Because completely when they ask me, a lot of people will tell you that what Emefiele just succeeded in doing is to cripple this economy. And I'm telling you this for fact today, that some of these businessmen will never grow anymore. The policy have crippled their business and it will never developed. It has crippled them. In fact, we have records of people that are dead already just because of this economic policy. So I think the arrest of Emefiele is in order. But what I want to admonish them is that while they arrest him, they need to be legal in everything they want to do with Emefiele. Emefiele must be asked to answer those queries. And if he found wanting, be taken to court and let him face the consequence and let him only dance by it. I think if for us to go by what President Bola Tinubu, his speech, he looks more seemingly ready president. In fact, that is all what we have been hearing about him. And I think with those policies, the move that the president have just did, for these days that he is back in office, I think he means the business. President Bola Tinubu, there is no game in saying it, that he is an extremely intelligent person. One thing about him is that he has a team which I think are capable of returning to this country back to a very responsible status quo. President Tinubu has did some move that a lot of analysts have commended. But this is a country that we want to call ourselves a capitalist economy. Yes, most of these people in the arms of affairs in this country are blatant capitalists. Most of them are capitalists and they dance to the tunes of the capitalists. The removal of fuel subsidy, as some of us will say, they will say, yeah, is another capitalist move. And I think if President Bola Tinubu will go by some of the steps that he has been taking, we will really commend him. I just only pray that what he's just doing for now is not just the normal thing that every leaders will do, that the gra of your first days in office. When you first come to office, you want to intimidate the space. You want to tell people that you are ready. When after some days now, you will now go back to sleep. I want to admonish him. He is being elected because some people felt he's more experienced and capable person. President Bola Tinubu looks more capable and ready. If by next 2-3 weeks, President Bola Tinubu is bringing a team, we want to see the team of today. That is why some of us have started criticizing the way he has been announcing his appointees. By now, I think the president is supposed to have announced people that will work for him. Let the people publicly know who are going to work with our president. What we see today, I think, is just the only SSG and the chief of staff. Let us see the caliber of who you want to bring as a minister, Federal Republic of Nigeria. Who are those to mount the education? Who are those people to mount the health sectors? Who are those to mount the transportation sectors? Who are those to mount the railway? And I think President Muhammadu Buhari has really led. We have put in some developmental stride in this country. President Tinubu needed to come to consolidate on some of these things and completely. Giving an example of the aviation sectors, only when Adi Sirika left that office that a lot of people have started picking points, picking holes in his office. But I think President Tinubu needs to bring somebody who is more encompassing, who is more knowledgeable. If I want to give an advice, a minister that will become a minister of aviation supposed to be an expert in aviation sectors. Not in the past where we have somebody who is a professor of anatomy coming to man aviation sector. No, let President Bola Tinubu find people who are professionals in each sector. Somebody who is professional in economic development and economic monetary policy, let him mind the Ministry of Economics and Finance. For somebody who is an expert in transportation sectors, a professor who is more grounded, can be given the Ministry of Transport. For somebody who is grounded in health, a professor that is grounded, well internationally recognized, it can be brought into the health sectors. Let them concentrate on the development of this country. I think it is time for us to face the government. Governance is next now. Politics is over, and let them go back to the drawing board and make this country great again. What we have heard so far is that Adi Sirika's cargo Nigeria by bringing an Ethiopian airline. Caricaturing an Ethiopian airline to be a Nigerian airline. And I think one of the questions that we need to answer is that even those who they work together in that office have started raising alarm about what he has done. You can even see those committee, the House of Air Committee on Aviation said they know nothing about it. I think it's everybody will start picking polls. If Adi Sirika did not work with the House Committee on Aviation, who did he really work with? And he will tell you that he had something hidden, an hidden agenda that he wanted to bring into this country. Having known that they will be going out of the office, Adi Sirika systematically, bring in an aviation policy that will be another antithetical policy that will really shame this country all abroad. And I think it is right that President Bola Tinubu will likely be after the Emefiele saga now. I think the next will be Adi Sirika saga. And in fact, Adi Sirika Gate will be an interesting one in this to come also.